Hello students, welcome to Chapter 3 in Pre-Algebra. We are studying angles and triangles, and this unit we're going to do a flipped classroom model where you'll watch this video and then tomorrow you'll come to class and we'll answer questions and check your notes and make sure you watch the video, and then we'll work during class time on the assigned problems. So today in section 3.1 we're going to learn to identify the relationships among pairs of interior and exterior angles that are formed by two parallel lines and a transversal. So there's certain definitions that we think that you probably should have come already knowing, like complementary angles. Remember those, they complement each other, they form a right angle, which is 90 degrees. Supplementary angles are two angles that form a straight line, which are 180 degrees. And then if you turn the page to the next page in your packet, you will go to, we'll talk about parallel lines and perpendicular lines, which are the first two definitions right here. So follow along with me. So turn your page, look at this. And the first one says that lines in the same plane that do not intersect. So we're going to type in or write in parallel, because those are two lines that do not intersect. Okay, so we're going to fill in parallel lines here. They're lines in the same plane that do not intersect. And then what are two lines that intersect at right angles? Those are called perpendicular. Oops. Sometimes my handwriting is not the greatest on this thing. Okay, so looking at the pictures, you can see that these two lines are perpendicular. They form right angles. Parallel lines, they are not intersecting in this plane. A line that intersects two or more lines, we're going to call this a transversal. So that is the line that cuts between them. So if you look down here, there's the transversal. Corresponding angles, if you read the key idea right here, the corresponding angles are when a transversal intersects parallel lines, corresponding angles are congruent. And the page up. So if you look where ignore that bell, the one mark here, one angle mark with the one angle mark, those are congruent. Those correspond, they're in the same position when you look at the parallel lines. The red marks here, like you can see that these are the two angles that are facing up, that are their corresponding position. They're in the same position when you look at the parallel lines. And the same with the blue with the two angle marks, and then the green with the three angle marks. So those are what we call corresponding angles, because they're in the same position with respect to the two parallel lines. Okay, in example 1, use the figure to find the measures of angle 1 and angle 2. So looking at letter A here, it says angle 1 and the 100-degree angle are corresponding angles. See how they're in the same position when you look at the parallel lines. They are congruent. So therefore, if angle 1 and the 110, these two angles right here, if those are congruent, then you know that angle 1, the measure of angle 1 is 110 degrees. Okay, so then now we can look at angle 1 and angle 2. So here's angle 2, here's angle 1. Notice what they form. They form a straight angle. They're supplementary. So look at that straight line that they form. So therefore, you know the two of them added together form a straight line at 180 degrees. So angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180. So then we should be able to subtract off angle 1. Let's fill it in. Now we know that it is also 110. So angle 2 should equal 180 minus 110, which would give you 70 degrees. So therefore, we know that angle 2 is equal to 70 degrees. The measure of angle 2 is 70 degrees. Okay, so scrolling down, the ones that say on your own, that is what we will check tomorrow. So tomorrow, we want you to come in and have answered, fill in angle 1 and angle 2 here, so figure out angle 2, and be able to explain how you know that angle 1, like it might be equal to 63 degrees. So how would you know that? What would you call it? Use the appropriate terminology. So we will check tomorrow to see that you have finished that. Scroll on down for now, or you can pause. You can pause and do that right now and then pick up the video, start it again, or you can do that after you finish the whole video. So going down to example 2, let's look at see what that says. It says use the figure to find the measures of all the numbered angles. So we want to find all the angles this time, angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4. So this is kind of like a puzzle is what I think of it as. So start with what you know. And then there's more than one way to work through this problem for sure, because once you get started. So we know that this angle right here is 75 degrees. Well, I'm kind of partial to vertical angles, so I know that if that is 75 degrees, I know that angle 1 is 75 degrees, because I know that those are vertical angles. Okay, and then once I know angle 1, if you look at angle 1 and angle 2 right here, those form what? A straight line. And straight line means that they're supplementary. So angle 2 then is 180 minus 75. So angle 2 is 105 degrees. And I usually fill these in the chart, or on the picture, I mean. So angle 2 is 105. And notice you could have also looked at angle 2 and the original 75. Those are supplementary that way. Well, then now you can tell that angle 3 is equal to different ways to do it. You can either use supplementary angles, or I'll choose vertical. Angle 3 is equal to 105 also, because it's vertical with angle 2. Okay, so I'm going to definitely use some abbreviations here. Okay, so let's look at the other side over here, and just pick something. I'm going to look at the 75 degree angle and say that that corresponds, is in the same position as angle 6. So we talked about corresponding angles. So I'm going to jump over here to angle 6 and say that that is also 75 degrees, because it corresponds to the 75 degree angle. That's my reason in parentheses. Well, if I know angle 6, then I should also know angle 4, because these two right here, I'll highlight them in blue. Oops. Those two are vertical angles. So angle 4 is also equal to 75 degrees due to vertical angles. Okay, once I know 4, then I can go back and think of that. Look at those two that I just highlighted in yellow. Well, angle 4 and angle 7, do you see how those form a straight line? So therefore angle 7 is equal to 180 minus 75, which is 105. And that's because they're supplementary. And then angle 8, oh, there's no angle 8, sorry about that, angle 6, let's erase, is equal to 105. Oops, I already did it. Angle 6, sorry. Somebody came to the door and then I got distracted, so I'm going to erase that again. Okay, so what are we left with? Angle 5. So angle 5 is equal to 105 degrees because of vertical angles. Okay, so moving down, the next part is on your own. So this is where you can either pause and follow the directions given here to find the measures of all the angles, numbered angles, or you can finish watching the video and then come back. But this is what we'll check tomorrow. So the on your own sections are what we'll check tomorrow in class. So make sure you have that completed. Okay, going down then. The next part, one more vocabulary, this is the last section. When two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, 4 interior angles.
The faculty meeting is starting in the cafeteria right now. Thank you.
So 4 interior angles are formed on the inside of the parallel lines, and 4 exterior angles are formed on the outside of the parallel lines. So let's think about what interior and exterior mean. Interior, you can see the parallel lines. These would be the interior angles. Anything inside there. And then the exterior angles are going to be formed outside. Think of exterior of a building as the outside. So looking here at then we want to find, I'm going to pause here and we're going to go to the next page. So interior and exterior. Okay, so go to the next page. Okay, so alternate interior and alternate exterior. When a transversal intersects parallel lines, alternate interior angles are congruent and alternate exterior are congruent. So here you can see the red right there. Those alternate sides of the transversal, and they're also on the inside between the two. Okay, those are interior. The exterior, like we said before, those are the ones that lie outside, and then you have the one arc, matching the one arc here, the one arc angle, is those are alternate. They alternate on the sides of the transversal. So going down then, example 3, oops, too far. It shows you a portion of an airport. Describe the relationship between each pair of angles. So angle 3 and angle 6. So here's your parallel lines right here. So angle 3 and angle 6, first of all, think about that they're exterior angles. They're on the outside, and look how they alternate sides of the transversal. One's above, one's below. So we're going to call those alternate exterior angles. So angle 3 and angle 6 are alternate exterior angles. That's the relationship between the two of them. Okay, so then looking at angles 2 and angle 7. Angle 2 and 7 are on the interior, and then I have to check and see, are they alternate? Yes, they alternate on the two sides. So angle 2 and angle 7 are alternate interior angles. And this means that they are congruent. So you can look at the picture and you can see, well, they are congruent to each other. The 2 and angle 7 are congruent. Well then, if you'll notice, angle 6 and angle 7 are congruent by vertical angles. So these 4 angles in this picture are all going to be the exact same measure. Okay, this is the end of the video. Thanks for listening. Hopefully I will get a little better at this as we go, and there won't have the bell ringing and some other things that we're interrupting, but your job now is to finish the on your own section. So you can see there's one more section here. We're going to highlight right here, and your job is to just find what those, find the measure of those angles. Okay, have a great night.